Today, I have a theory that Abraham Lincoln killed William Henry Harrison. Who was William Henry Harrison? William Henry Harrison was the ninth President of the United States. He is most famous for being a war hero from the War of 1812, Old Tippecanoe, and being the president who died exactly 1 month into office. Harrison's cause of death was pneumonia, supposedly caused from doing his 2-hour inauguration speech in the rainy cold weather, without wearing a coat and hat. But is this how he really died? This is the death of William Henry Harrison in 1841. Does this painting seem familiar to you? I wonder where we've seen it before. This is the death of Abraham Lincoln, just 24 years later. Based on the similarities of the paintings, it is clear that Lincoln modeled his death after Harrison's. But how could he have known all the details? Perhaps he was present for his final moments. This is Lincoln, circa 1840-something. But who could this be right here? But why would Lincoln be present at Harrison's death? It's simple. He wanted to make sure that the job was done. But what motivated him to commit such an act? Running for the election of 1840 were 3 Whig Party candidates: William Henry Harrison, Henry Clay, and Winfield Scott. At the 1839 Whig National Convention, Harrison was chosen over the other 2 nominees. Can you guess who Abraham Lincoln was a big fan of? Henry Clay. Lincoln was a crazy fanboy. Lincoln was a big-time fan of Henry Clay. In fact, he is even quoted saying that he almost worships Henry Clay. Lincoln voted for Clay in 2 out of the 3 elections that he ran in, because Abe was too young to vote in the first, obviously. Lincoln was a member of the Springfield Clay Club, which was a fan club for Henry's presidential campaign. He also campaigned for him in the 1844 election, and he would quote him in his important speeches. When Clay died, Lincoln delivered a eulogy stating that Henry was my beau ideal of a statesman from whom I fought all my humble life. And this is a real sign at the Henry Clay Estates, stating how much Abraham Lincoln admired Henry Clay. To put it lightly, Abe was totally obsessed with him. Which makes perfect sense onto why he decided to avenge his beloved Clay. He had to take out the competition. More reasons to kill Harrison. Harrison's log cabin campaign. The Whig Party claimed that Harrison was the frontiersman who lived in a log cabin. This helped him gain a lot of votes due to his supposed everyman, humble persona. However, Harrison actually was fairly wealthy and lived in a mansion. This definitely angered Lincoln because Lincoln actually grew up poor in a log cabin. This would be another reason for Lincoln to have a disdain for Harrison. Stealing his look. Lincoln is known for his stovepipe hat and long black coat combo, but guess who was wearing it first? It is apparent that Lincoln was very jealous of his wardrobe. Slavery. Harrison was a slave owner and supported states' rights on the decisions of slavery. Lincoln, however, did not support slavery and famously issued the Emancipation Proclamation. He also was for the preservation of the Union, which did not include the expansion of slavery. This furthers the divide between the 2 men. Now, how did Lincoln kill Harrison? First, Lincoln had to make it seem like he actually liked Harrison in order to get closer to him and to draw away any suspicion. This is why Lincoln started to campaign for Harrison for the 1840 election, once he was the Whig Party candidate. A quote from the office of the Illinois Secretary of State says that by 1840, Lincoln was the leader of the Whig Party in Illinois. As such, he spent most of the campaign traveling around the state on behalf of William Henry Harrison, the Whig candidate for president. Being so devoted to his campaign, I'm sure Lincoln would have been present in D.C. for Harrison's inauguration. Notice that Harrison did not have on his coat or hat during his inauguration, which made him exposed to the elements. I wonder where his coat and hat went, or who took it. I believe Abraham Lincoln purposely stole Harrison's coat and hat before the inauguration, so he would have to stand in the cold rain, causing him to become ill, Because Harrison was an old man, he was a lot more susceptible to illness, therefore making him more likely to die. This was a perfect plan because Lincoln didn't even have to touch him. Plus, where do you think he got his famous hat and coat from? But don't worry, karma always catches up.